How strong is your confidence? To achieve your goals, to stand up for yourself, to get that dream job, to start dating again, to lead others, and to make a greater impact, you need unbreakable confidence. But why is it so hard to build our confidence? I'm sure you can relate to me. Confidence is a learned skill. We are not born confident. We don't launch a company confident. We don't start dating after divorce confidently. Confidence is a learned skill. So let's talk today about what confidence is and what you can do to build your confidence. So imagine walking into a crowded room without any social anxiety. That's confidence. Imagine skating effortlessly through an interview for your dream job because you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and you can hold both as you effectively articulate your immense worth. That's confidence. Imagine gazing into the eyes of the love of your life with perfect confidence that they know your soul because you have learned to share it freely and fearlessly. That's confidence. That level of confidence is real, but we got to build it. So let's talk today about how you build that kind of confidence. I see it in my authors all the time, you guys. I see it in my business clients all the time that they say they want to grow a global company, but they don't have the confidence that backs that up. They say they want to write a best-selling book, but they're lacking the confidence that will fuel that desire. The trick to getting there and having more confidence is just like everything else. You have to train your brain to be confident through practice. Remember, you become who you practice to be. So what do you practice to build confidence? Failure. Yeah, have a different view of failure. If I could say one idea, one tip that could catapult you into a whole new level of living, a whole new level of showing up in your business, in your love life, in your family and friend life, it would be to have a new idea about failure. Failure is the key to an ironclad, confident backbone. It really is. Failure is also the most common fear that stops my would-be authors, my other coaching clients. And I hear this all the time. Lisa, I feel like I'm ready to write my book, but I'm so scared to start. What if I fail? Failure is scary. I get it. But why are we all so afraid to fail? Why are we making such a big deal about failing? We never did when we were young kids. When you learned to walk, you'd fall down, it hurt, you got back up and tried again. You had this inner spirit to expand, to grow, to try again. So this conversation is about how to tap back into that part of you that, failure hurts. Ouch, it hurts. But we can overcome that pain by retraining our brain and focusing on new synapses on how we relate to failure. I failed so big in my company. I've failed so big in my life. So many times I've actually lost count. And each one stung. Some of my failures were even catastrophic. My most painful failure in my business happened early in my speaking career. I failed through a small, silly mistake that cost my company $87,000 in one single day. Yeah, that's a failure. Back when I was giving speaking engagements back in the 1990s, long before the days of online order forms or web stores, I would bring all these resources to the back of the room and have a paper order form that everybody would fill out. I would give them, my staff and I would give them the resources that they purchased and keep the order forms to process the credit cards back at the office. I know it sounds like ancient times, but this was 25 years ago. I sold almost 200 orders that day, which equaled $87,000. On the plane ride home, I put the folder of order forms in the seat back pocket in front of me. Yeah, you guessed it. I walked off the plane without any of those orders. Yep. And I lost $87,000 of merchandise costs. And I lost the damn forms to pay for it. That was a big failure. It's easy to become risk-averse after that kind of mistake. I don't know. Have you made that big of a mistake before? It's easy to be risk-averse. Oh my God, I'm never doing that again. And yet that's the best place to be. My God, I'm never doing that again. So as an entrepreneur, I was terrified of that financial loss. Of course I was. It's my investment on the line. So I told myself, I'll never let myself fail like that again. The thing is, everyone has a story like mine. Everyone, you included, have all failed. Your brain has learned again and again that failure causes pain. It programmed itself to avoid failing at all costs. It decided that failure can't be a part of your reality. So that only causes you and I to live in fear. You overwork and overplan and do every single thing you can possibly think of to mitigate risk. You refuse to start writing your book until you mapped out every chapter. You refuse to even start talking to people about your new business idea until you have every T crossed, every I dotted. All this risk-averse behavior holds back your spirit. So let's talk about how you can unleash that spirit. And just like you were when you were 18 months old, 12 months old and learning how to walk, your spirit of expansion overrided your fear of hurting yourself or your fear of falling. So let's stop telling ourselves that we have to have everything perfect before we begin. Let's stop telling ourselves that we don't want to experience failure. What if you just created a mind shift right now, today? I accept failure. I don't want it. I don't like it, but failure's okay. I can learn from my failures. Failure gives me a good opportunity to become better. Failure gives me an opportunity to focus on what works because I know what doesn't work. Failure is my opportunity to see that I'm trying. You know what? I'm a person who tries things. I'm a force who gets out there. Failure can be that lens for you as well. Can we even say that we need failing? We need to fail? We need the practice to fail. Failure is also good for you. It inspires more adaptive problem solving and confirmation of your values, making you a better person. It is in failure, the really painful kind, that vows are made, lines of demarcation are drawn, and a person is radically changed. It's the pain of failure that inspires such conviction that the decisions are emblazoned on the subconscious mind and a new level of commitment arises. I know it hurts. I know failure hurts, but sometimes a little hurt is okay. It's what makes you grow. It's what makes growth stick. And failure also creates an opportunity of success that would have never been created had that failure not happened. So here's what happened when I lost $87,000 over such a small mistake. Yeah, it hurt. It hurt a lot. I cried with frustration. I yelled at the Delta customer service rep who couldn't recover the forms. I lashed out at my husband at the time, who had no idea why I was so distraught. I told myself horrible things about my idiocy and incompetence. I was in pain. But then I remembered that I had access to the registration list for the speech. If I wanted to, I could look up every attendee's name and phone number. I could call every person on that list and ask if they had purchased merchandise from me. I could get their credit card and order info right there over the phone. Now that was a crazy idea, lunacy really, but that's exactly what I did. One by one, I called every single person that had registered for that event. And by the end of the week, I had 113 completed order forms ready to be charged. And I recouped almost all of the $87,000. And what really was remarkable about this failure is I actually launched my coaching business from that one mistake, because the connections that I made on those personal phone calls when I called each person who came to that convention, a personal phone call from me, it just created such a connection that they wanted to work with me. They were impressed with my authenticity. They were impressed with my willingness to rectify a problem, this big failure. I don't know, it just created such a beautiful connection with me and those convention participants that is the reason my coaching business launched with such huge results right from the get-go, from that one failure. So you never know, you guys, you never know what a failure can actually create and what success is just on the other side of that failure. I know calling each person who came to that convention was a ridiculous idea. I felt ridiculous doing it. I had to humble myself to hundreds of strangers. I had to set aside hours each day. If not for the pain of such a massive failure, I don't think I would have done it. But it is in that pain that we find ourselves. We find out who we really are. We find out the depths of our backbone, the strength of our inner courage. I found out that I was determined, creative, and willing to humbly admit to failure and to do whatever I could to rectify it. And that line of demarcation that happened 25 years ago has been the same spirit, the same backbone, the same foundation that has launched a global company, that has launched 6 books, 4 of them bestsellers, that have launched my mastermind retreats. We're on number 30. My next retreat is number 30. And that line of demarcation, that solid backbone, that confidence that I talked about, it came from that pain. It came from that failure. The pain of drawing a line so thick, it has persisted to this day. I will never allow my pride to derail my goals. That personal growth helped my business, but more than that, it helped me. Failure made me a better person. And the people I called could feel it. So, what about you? Failure can be your level of creating that backbone, that courage, that courageous nature that you need. It's your character creator. Your failure will catapult you into new realms of wisdom and growth that will reflect everything you do. It's a vital part of being a successful entrepreneur, of being a successful author, of being a successful human being. So that's why we actually build failure right into our authors program. At some point, our authors miss a deadline. They produce unintelligible and incoherent ramblings. They struggle to see how their ideas fit together. It's just part of it. It's part of the program. And we know in our authors program that everyone fails along the way to their masterpiece. So can you today take on a new definition for failure? Because it is in your failures that you actually create that confident backbone that will make a difference for you every day of your life, that you can bring into the future and create global success. So let's shift our mindsets around failure and what we make it mean, and actually look at the last failure that you've had. How can you recreate that failure? How can you dissolve the pain of that failure? By finding the wisdom, by calling out the learned lesson, by noticing the success that came from that failure. Take a few minutes when we're done having our conversation here and write those down. Put the word failure at the top of the page and label whatever is that failure that comes to mind, and fill that out, those 3 specific mind shifts. Number 1, what did that failure teach you to be better at your job, to be better at that relationship? Number 2, what's the wisdom, the character development that you created, that line of demarcation that you now have from that failure? And then reason number 3, or mind shift number 3, and this is the biggest one. What success actually came on the outside, on the back of that failure? Find it. Find that success that actually got created because of that failure. And those 3 new mind shifts can help you have a whole new view of failure, a whole new relationship with failure. And let me tell you, if you want to build a backbone, you want more confidence, I want you to retrain your brain around failure. And confidence is the gift that you will give yourself. Make it a great day, everyone. Be bold, be courageous, and retrain your brain around failure. Are you ready to share your wisdom with the world? A published book gives you instant credibility, increased income, and a global impact. Get registered for the Hope Publishing House Authors Program, and let's make a difference together.